is karmically perfect. Don't ever think that when you perceive something as wrong, and for the first instance that's exactly what we're doing. It's just a perception of a situation, and like I've said before, we can change that perception in any given moment to be whatever we want it to be. But say you've not got to that point yet, and say that you are still in a place where you feel that people are doing you wrong, people are judging you, or people are being mean towards you, then just know that the universe, life, is karmically perfect, and nobody gets away with anything. If you're putting a love out into the world, if you're putting joy out into the world, if you're putting happiness out into the world, then that comes back to you. If you're putting negativity out into the world, if you're putting judgment out into the world, then that comes back to you. So if you're being mean to somebody, if you're calling people names, or you're judging other people, or you're being negative towards other people, then that comes back on you. That doesn't affect anybody else as much as it's going to affect you. It'll come back on you 10 times as powerful as you put it out into the world. And I went for a long time thinking, why do people get away with how they treat people? Why are people just so mean? And they seem to just get away with it, and they seem to live happy lives, and they seem to have it all together, but they're just so mean to other people. And then I realised that these people don't have it all together. These people are the most insecure. They're the self-esteem is on the floor. They've got very little confidence. They're absolutely shattered inside. And they might put on a persona, a brave front, a fake front to the world, but inside they're absolutely coiling with bitterness and with such negative emotions and feelings. So don't think when somebody's doing you wrong that person is getting away with it, because they don't. And life will serve up whatever it needs to serve up for that person, because life is karmically perfect. I went through a sustained period in my life where I was feeling those negative emotions. I had PTSD, I had chronic OCD, I was riddled with psychosis, I was pulling my hair out in my head, and I was in a really, really dark place. When I was in that dark place, when I was in that frequency, I was mean, and I wasn't a nice person, and I said really mean things, and I just wasn't a good person. And I don't shy away from that, but with a lot of hard work and awareness, then I've come out of that, and I've come out of the other side of that. So when I talk to you, and I'm not talking from a place of not knowing. I've been there, and I've experienced it. I've experienced both sides of it. I've experienced that negative side. I've experienced being so low that I'm judging other people to make myself feel better, because I felt rubbish about myself. But I'm at that place now where I'm just so full of love. I'm so happy. I'm so joyful. And my perception in each situation has changed dramatically. And I don't see things that I used to see. I don't feel things that I used to feel. And trust me when I say, if people are doing you what you perceive as mean or negative around you for some reason, just know that life is karmically perfect, and that always comes back around to that person. One of the most powerful techniques that you can do to calm yourself in situations where you're feeling overwhelmed by somebody's negativity is say, internally, you don't need to say it out loud. You don't need to tell the other person that you've done this, or you're saying this, or you're and we'll go into this in a little bit more detail in another video, that you're asking life to forgive that person. You're asking life to forgive that person because they are hurting. Hurt people. And you're asking life to go into their lives and work in their lives in order for them to forgive whatever they need to forgive, because they're hurting because they haven't forgiven something in the past, and that's why they're being so mean and projecting that out into the world. So just say it to yourself internally, and it brings you peace, it brings you, and that's what it's about. It's about bringing you peace in situations like this. And just say, life, source, God, whatever you want to say, I ask that you enter this person's life and let forgiveness set them free. Life, God, source, I'm asking, please let forgiveness set this person free, because ultimately that's what they need. They need to be set free from whatever it is that happened in the past that they've not resolved yet. It's a really powerful technique, and instantly in that moment it'll bring you peace.